My mother and father went back into my life after a 3-year gap following my mother's affair with my ex-boyfriend. God. Where do I actually begin with this mess? I was with D-Head, my ex-boyfriend, and from now on only called DH, for nearly 5 years. We met in college and hit it off immediately. We never had a fight or anything of that nature. I am fairly level-headed and always seek communication first, which worked out really well in our favor. When we finished our courses, I got a job close to my family and moved back to town with DH. He eventually got a good job too, and everything seemed perfect. Then, 3 years ago, just after we had become engaged, his idea alone, I had no idea he even wanted to get married, I came home early one day and found him having sex with my mom. Trust me when I say that if I could have burned the eyes out of my head at that point, I would have. I literally had nightmares for months afterward about him taking her doggy style over the kitchen table. Long story short, I threw the engagement ring at him, pushed my crying mother away from me, and took off. I obviously told my father straight away, who, to my horror, was not surprised. Apparently, they had been talking about opening their relationship for a while and had just done so. She had never told him who she intended on partnering with. He actually said that maybe I needed to really think about whether monogamy was the right way for me, and what harm there really was in my mom having a little fun with DH. You have to understand that my dad goes through phases where he becomes completely absorbed in lifestyles he reads about and thinks they suit him better. For example, when we were young he went through a phase where he believed the hunter-gatherer lifestyle was the right way to live and had us all learning how to hunt. As hard as it was to stomach my father saying that to me, I knew that what happens between them is their own business. My dad had basically approved my mother's betrayal of me. This is where I really lucked out, thank you to the personal finance advisor I went to during college. I had been the only one of us saving for a house and had a nice, tidy sum of money locked away in my account. So I left. I just took off. No note. No message. I handed in my notice at my job, called my landlord, and paid whatever it took to free myself from the lease. I left all the furnishings and belongings I owned because I just did not care. I packed a bag with clothes and essentials, got into my car, and left. I had a blast. I crossed the states on the best road trip I have ever had, all by myself. I eventually found another job on the West Coast and have worked there ever since. I met my husband, had a really small wedding since neither of us are big on those sorts of things, and now we have a beautiful 3-month-old son after a pretty hard pregnancy. During all that time, I only kept in touch with my sisters. They attended my wedding secretly because I did not want my parents knowing anything about my life. They would have only tried to come and ruin it. They were the first to hear about my pregnancy as well. My husband knows everything, by the way, just in case you are wondering. The problem I am faced with now is that my younger sister confessed everything to my parents. She told them where I am, that I am married, and that I have had a baby. I have not been able to get in touch with my sister since I started receiving letters and phone calls from them. It is all one giant guilt trip. They complain about how much they miss me, how they have missed such important events in my life, and how they want to know their first grandchild. Not an hour ago I got a voice message from DH who was blubbering a sob story about how he thought I was dead or something. He talked about how devastated he was, and still is, that I left him, and how shocked he is now to find out that I have moved on. My husband is a star. He has basically said that whatever I decide, he will stand behind me 100%. My real issue is that my resolve is starting to crack. I look at my son and think that maybe he should know them. I mean, he has wonderful grandparents and my in-laws, but surely he should know my own family too. I just need advice here. Should I stay strong, or are they right that I should not have done what I did? Update 1. Hey guys, I just wanted to say really quickly how blown away I am by all the messages and support. Even those who say this is fake validate every time I have ever told somebody my parents are dead rather than having to tell them the truth. So thanks for that. Just a short update, my sister got in touch. We will be talking properly in another hour when she is free, so I am bracing myself for that conversation. I will try to update you all eventually. I have actually found this really therapeutic. A special thanks to all those who suggested /r/raised by narcissists. I have read a few threads, and it has been really eye-opening to see that what I thought was normal was completely far from it. Thanks again, everyone. Final update, hey everyone, it has been quite a while since I last posted. Things have been a little crazy, so posting an update was firmly pushed to the back of the to-do list until today. Before I start, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who replied, even those who said this was fake. You have no idea how good it was to see people honestly believe this situation was so outrageous that it could not possibly be real. It really helped solidify my decision that they were not getting any more contact. My younger sister and I talked. To be honest, It was not a pleasant conversation. I was essentially berated for not being forgiving enough. She told me that family is family and that I was cheating our parents out of being part of my life and my son's life. Thankfully, and in no small part due to all of you knocking some sense into me, I basically told her to screw off and hung up the phone. I cried for a long time afterward. I had not seen this coming at all, and it really hurt. It almost hurt as much as when everything first exploded. What really has me confused is what happened to her that caused such a huge shift in opinion. Suddenly I am the bad guy for wanting a normal life without my parents ruining it again. Even now I have no idea what changed. All I know is that she woke up one day and decided I am the worst person in the world. After that, my husband really stepped up. He bundled me and our baby into the car and drove us to his parents' house for a few days. He called them and explained everything that was happening, and his mother insisted that we come stay for a while to get away from the stress. When we got there, his mom nearly smothered me with kindness. She is very much a mommy type of person. She took every opportunity to babysit my son and let me rest. Meanwhile, my husband, while I was relaxing and unaware of what he was doing, called my other sister and got her up to speed on everything that was going on. From what I can tell, it has been all-out war between them and my parents ever since. My older sister, who I will now call B, stormed over to confront our younger sister, M, that very night. Apparently she read her the riot act. It got pretty heated from what I can tell, and since then B has cut M off completely. This is a huge problem for M, as B helped fund her way through college. After that fight, B got in her car and drove all the way back to our parents' house. Things got even messier there. She later called my husband and told him that our parents had actually been packing suitcases when she arrived. They had bought plane tickets to our state and were planning to leave in the middle of the week. B completely blew up. The fight was apparently brutal. B is razor sharp when she argues. Eventually she left, but she could not convince them not to travel. She did manage to get the details of their flight times. My husband decided not to tell me right away. My earlier panic about them potentially showing up convinced him that I needed to stay as uninvolved as possible. Instead, he left me at his parents' house while he returned home to wait for them. When they arrived, he answered the door and told them to get off his property. My father and husband got into a blazing argument that ended when my father tried to break down the door. That gave my husband all the reason he needed to call the police. When the police arrived, my father tried to claim that my husband was keeping me locked up like a prisoner and preventing me from seeing my family. I know this because I received a phone call and visit from the local police department near my in-laws' home to follow up on the claim. That was also when I learned they had actually crossed the country to reach me. So, they have gone back east since they could not get anywhere near me or my baby. However, the trouble has not stopped. We have received at least 8 notices from their lawyers regarding access to our son. Our own lawyer told us it is incredibly unlikely they will get anything. We have also had 4 visits from CPS and the police because of anonymous reports, everything from questioning our parenting to claims that I am a battered wife. Our lawyer believes these reports are being orchestrated so that if the case ever goes to court, they can point to a record. And maybe this is just paranoia, but I have a really bad gut feeling that they may have hired a private investigator or something. B has told me to hold the line. She is going through something similar herself. She has had 5 police visits in the last month alone, one of which was apparently because of an anonymous call claiming she was running a brothel. I guess we have pushed our parents to the edge. They would rather ruin our lives than leave us alone. As for everything else, we are planning on moving. We are not sure when or where yet, but even my husband is growing tired of all the drama. We are still in the planning stages and trying to figure out every possible way to make sure that if we do move, we can legally prevent them from finding out where we are. It is just all so exhausting. What is even sadder is that I know this is not really about me. It is about my baby and my parents trying to exert some sort of control over his life, and mine. Today has just been such a long day. Any similar stories, advice, or words of encouragement would be greatly appreciated, because today was the first day that the future felt like nothing more than a bleak hole of legal battles and crazy parents.